Hey guys, Day here. While many players know the essential basics of using the Syndicate, only a small fraction take advantage of some of the more nuanced mechanics to run what is considered to be an optimized currency farming Syndicate board setup. In this video, I'll be showcasing the approach to manipulating the Syndicate for absurd currency gain, talking about why it's so effective, and sharing important tips you should consider to maximize the value of the most profitable Master Mission in PoE. In order to make this video, I ran 125 Jun Master Missions using an optimized Syndicate board. Across those Master Missions, I earned about 48 exalted orbs in profit from the Syndicate Safehouses alone. 48 exalts across 125 maps is obviously an absurd amount of profit to be earned from missions. Now, last league I employed a serious yet unoptimized approach to manipulation and tracked my profits there, earning less than half the profit, which is a sign of how powerful putting a bit more effort into manipulating an optimized Syndicate board can be. However, the Syndicate is one of the most complicated mechanics in the game and is notoriously difficult to understand and explain. If you're new to using the Syndicate and Jun Master Missions, I highly recommend watching Zizern's video on the Syndicate from a few weeks ago, which covers a lot of the important basics. This video is intended for players that have a bit more experience under their belt and want to push the Syndicate and the Betrayal mechanics to their limits. Generally speaking, the Syndicate board is divided up into 4 separate branches. As you encounter the Syndicate in maps and defeat its masters, you will get options to manipulate the Syndicate board, such as building relationships, ranking up Syndicate masters, or moving them around into different branches. Each Syndicate master provides unique rewards that changes depending on which of the 4 Syndicate branches they are in. Moving masters into branches where they offer profitable rewards is the core principle to using the Syndicate in general. So what does an optimized and highly profitable Syndicate board for currency look like? The core concept revolves around having only 2 high-value masters in research and intervention, with every other Syndicate master permanently ranked and allocated into transportation and fortification to act as intelligence banks. I'll talk about what that means and why it's so effective in a bit. My current setup attempts to have It That Fled as the leader in research, supported by only 1 member, in this case Verici. It That Fled when rank 3 allows you to upgrade Chayula Breachstones to their pure version. Chayula's pure Breachstones are incredibly high in value, as running them is one of the fastest and safest ways to level up in the entire game. At current prices, a normal Chayula Breachstone is 40 chaos, whereas a pure, upgraded one is 210 chaos. Because having It That Fled as the leader gives you double the opportunities to upgrade Breachstones, every research safe house with a rank 3 It That Fled leader earns a profit of 340 chaos from Breachstones at the time of this recording. Verici is chosen to be in research due to his ability to add white sockets to items. This league, magic find builds are incredibly popular, making white socket pariah rings highly sought after. If we take the pariah ring and add a white socket to it, the ring now sells for over 50 chaos more than what we bought it for. Because the pariah only has 1 white socket, Verici can add tons of value as a master even if he is only rank 1. Therefore, we can focus all our efforts on ranking up It That Fled to rank 3 in the leader position. Therefore, with It That Fled and Verici, every research safe house earns over 2.5 exalts in profit. The more often we can summon these safe houses, the better. I also have Gravicius and Chimeria in intervention because they provide gilded scarabs of high value, but the specific master that is the most profitable often shifts from league to league. Now, many players run their Syndicate by pumping up their safe houses with many different masters. In research, in addition to It That Fled and Verici, players may stick in Tora for some gem levels, rank 3 Leo for some exalt slams, Hillock for some flask quality, etc. While this approach does result in a juiced up safe house when it's ready and is perfectly okay to do, it comes with a major problem that limits long-term currency gain. Specifically, after running that kind of safe house, it takes a long time to rebuild value and set it up again. Let me illustrate what I mean with this research safe house. Whenever you complete a safe house, the leader gets sent into jail. Every member gets sent back to rank 0, and then a random rank 0 member comes in to fill the empty leader slot. When the board ticks into the next turn at the next Syndicate encounter, a random rank 0 member fills in the member position. The problem with all this is that you now have random members in research that may not be as profitable as you want. Since It That Fled and Verici are the most consistently profitable, you want them in research as often as possible. However, with normal Syndicate farming, you may have to spend multiple master missions waiting for them to appear in a research encounter. Then you need the option to move them into the research branch. Then when you finally get them in a research, you gotta rank them up, then you gotta imprison the leader, hoping It That Fled can go into the leader position. In the end, when you have so many Syndicate masters involved, many Jun Master missions are wasted trying to get It That Fled and Verici in position. However, by only having 2 masters allocated into research and intervention with no masters unranked, we completely bypass that limitation for huge Jun mission efficiency. With only 2 members in research, here's what happens when you complete a safe house. The leader, It That Fled, loses its ranks and gets sent to jail. Verici becomes unranked, and then the game attempts to find a member to replace the empty leader position. Because every other Syndicate Master is already in another Syndicate branch, only Verici is available, so he fills in the missing leader position. If your mastermind intelligence is full, which it often will be, It That Fled cannot give more intelligence to the mastermind while in jail. Therefore, when the board ticks into the next turn at the next Syndicate encounter and research attempts to spawn in, It That Fled is freed from jail and moves back into research. Therefore, immediately after completing the safe house, you already have 2 high-value masters in research, and you can begin ranking them up immediately. We apply the same concept with Gravicius and Chimeria in intervention. In establishing this kind of board, you can rank up and earn highly profitable safe houses faster than in any other setup. And from my experience, using this kind of setup allows you to rank up Chayula Breachstones twice as fast as with alternatives. That being said, there are many important Syndicate concepts you need to keep in mind when doing this. Firstly, in every single Jun Master mission, the game will always try to spawn 3 Syndicate encounters on the map. In maps, it will always try to spawn research and intervention, then choose one of either fortification or transportation. In order to rank up your target members quickly, it's essential to have as many relationships between members of your 2 high-value Syndicate branches and the fortification and transportation members as possible. Whenever you encounter the Syndicate in maps, the game will choose members of the branch to attack you initially, but never the leader. The game will then roll the dice and choose between 0 and 3 additional Syndicate members to fly in through those green portals to support that initial member. The only members that can appear as supports are those with green trusted and red rivalry connections or members in the same Syndicate branch. If at least 3 members appear and are killed, you will always get at least 1 option to rank up a member that appeared. If the last 2 remaining members on the ground are trusted with each other, you will not get the option to rank either of them up. However, if the last 2 remaining members on the ground are rivals with each other, you will get the option to rank one of them up. Therefore, rivalries are generally better, and you want to try to build up a large amount of red rivalry connections. It's also important to rank up members of transportation and fortification as well, although with less priority than your target members. When you encounter intervention and research in maps, members of transportation and fortification can still appear as supporting members if relationships are present. When these low-value members come in as supporters, it allows you to rank up your target members, and you can imprison them to provide intelligence to your target Syndicate branches. Therefore, because transportation and fortification members can still provide lots of value by being available, you want to avoid maxing out intelligence in these safe houses as much as possible once your board has been established. If a safe house is maxed out on intelligence and is ready to run, the members will not be able to spawn in maps as supporting members, which decreases the efficiency of your Jun Master missions. Now, those are the core principles of running an optimized Syndicate board. Build up lots of relationships between members first, isolate target members into their ideal branches, rank up target members, and imprison transportation and fortification members when appropriate to farm intelligence for your target safe house completion. The things I've talked about in this video so far are all you need to employ this Syndicate board. However, to truly min-max the Syndicate and avoid some crucial mistakes, here are a few additional pointers to consider. Firstly, you never want to run the Syndicate Mastermind encounter. Running the Mastermind resets your entire board and destroys all the relationships you've built up. If you do want to do the mastermind, perhaps for a challenge completion, do so before putting in all the time to build this board. For obvious reasons, also do not click on the remove all rivalries option when it appears. Additionally, while there are only 14 masters that can be present on the board at a time, there are 17 in total. Many players think Elryon is complete trash and kick him out of their board for other members. However, Elryon can frequently drop veiled jewelry items which sell in trade leagues for over 25 chaos each, which makes for a solid bit of additional currency. The main reason is because some players want to unlock his highly sought after crafting mods, such as channeling skills have minus mana cost. Also, generally speaking, it can be hard to rank up the leader of a safe house. Leaders will only spawn in as supporting members to other safe houses if a relationship exists, or rarely as a supporting member to their own safe house. This is very different from typical safe house members who are always there waiting for you. For example, here I have It That Fled as the leader and Verici as the member serving under it. Whenever I enter the research encounter, Verici will always be the person waiting for me, never the leader, It That Fled. If your syndicate leader doesn't have a lot of relationships, it may take a very long time and many Jun Master Missions for him to appear, so do your best to ensure both Verici and It That Fled have many relationships. An alternative option is to rank up It That Fled to rank 3 first when he is serving under Verici, then imprison Verici when he appears. This can be a good option for some boards that have only a small amount of relationships between It That Fled and other members. Furthermore, if you have just finished a map with Jun on it and you have a research or intervention safe house ready, completing the safe house will prevent that syndicate branch from appearing on the next Jun map, allowing only 2 out of 3 syndicate encounters to appear. This is because the leader of a syndicate branch can never be the member spawning the syndicate encounter, and the other member is imprisoned. The imprisoned member requires the board to tick forward at least 1 turn before returning into their syndicate branch. In this case, you have 2 options. The first option is to just run another Jun map, knowing you won't get your target syndicate encounter on that map. The other option is to load into Act 9 Foothills. Press F1 to load this frame time bar and repeatedly control-click reload the zone until you see one spike that is higher than the rest. This indicates that a master mission has loaded into the zone, either a Jun encounter or an alpha. By encountering Jun here, you tick the board forward 1 turn, moving the imprisoned syndicate member back into your target branch. Therefore, the next map you run will have the normal 3 syndicate encounters. It usually only takes a couple minutes and is certainly an option if you want to maximize the value out of each Jun mission, although I personally didn't do this. You can avoid this blocked syndicate branch problem entirely by running safe houses as soon as you get them in maps, assuming they aren't the final encounter of the map. For example, here I completed my research safe house and only 2 out of 3 encounters have been hit on the map. I then immediately portal out, run the safe house, imprisoning It That Fled and technically blocking research. However, I jump back into the same map and run into the final syndicate encounter to tick the board forward, moving It That Fled into research, ready to go for the next Jun Master Mission. Additionally, make sure you avoid imprisoning any rank 1 members in Fortification or Transportation. Doing so makes them unranked, and there's a chance they can accidentally pop back into research or intervention as the leader upon safe house completion, which is not really something you want. Finally, when building relationships between members, you want to focus on giving your target members as many relationships as possible, but at the same time, you want to avoid building relationships between Transportation and Fortification members. By doing so, you end up diluting the pool of valuable members that can appear as supporting members. For example, even though Elryon in Fortification has relationships with Gravicius, who is very valuable, he also has a relationship with Giannis. Instead of summoning Gravicius to support him, which would be favorable as that would allow us to rank up the target member, he brings in Giannis instead, which is useless to us. However, this is something you should only worry about once you have a lot of relationships on the board, as this is really a min-maxing kind of thing. Now that is everything you need to know about optimizing your Syndicate and Jun encounters for currency farming and profit. If the past 15 minutes has sounded like a foreign language, don't worry, you aren't alone. The Jun Syndicate Betrayal mechanics are the most complicated in the entire game, and to become comfortable with it, you need to spend time actively interacting with the mechanic while thinking about the consequences of your actions. The reason why the Syndicate is so profitable is because so few players understand or even want to interact with it efficiently. If you didn't get everything here, I encourage you to take the things you did learn back to PoE, try to employ a few things, and come back later on to master the nuances. In the description, I've linked a spreadsheet that contains profit calculations for my Jun Safehouses. In the process of making this video, I also ran 325 Tier 16 Promenade maps, keeping track of my profits throughout that. While it isn't a focus of this video, you can also find data from that linked in the description as well as a little bonus. In any case, that's all I wanted to share in this video. Hopefully you're able to employ a few of the things here to get more value out of your Jun missions. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to lend a helping hand. If I make any slight revisions or changes to the things I said in this video, you'll probably find them in the comments down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.